My name is Michael. I am one of the founders here at backtothefuturetrading.com. And we have an interesting proposition for traders that are looking to keep loading it instead of saving it, who are looking to have an edge in the market that isn't based on some guru, some black box proprietary nonsense, some curve fit garbage, or have an acronym attached to it. We have a growing social media presence. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter X. And when I research those channels, there is a veritable plethora, cornucopia, a rising young nation of aspiring con artists and gurus. And their YouTube videos say things like, how I turned $5 into $5 million in 4 days. You ever see those? Or the only setup you'll ever need in an equity curve that's almost a 45-degree angle. And many of them are really young. I'm not an ageist, but I also know the learning curve for trading is 4 to 6 years. Most people lose or invest into themselves anywhere between $30,000 and $50,000 to get to that level of proficiency. And here's a kid in a dollar store t-shirt eating a ramen noodle trying to convince the rest of us that he's got the secret weapon. This is my LMNOP weapon. This is my ABC. This ICT silver bullet's all you need. And when you see that much marketing around something, if you're like me, you kind of, the little hairs on your neck stand up and you go, oh, okay. These are like those dancers in the Netflix special that are part of a cult. And the guy makes them dance and do the Bee Gees music. And then he takes 80% of their salary and beats them in a basement at night. This isn't anything to do with trading. It's entertainment. It's marketing. None of what I'm about to show you is based on that. Everything I do is based on something that's been working for over 100 years and working well enough now where a lot of our customers are using it to qualify for prop firms, getting payouts, receiving money, growing their own accounts today. We had a couple people today in our live group, our Skype pages, posting a lot of results. One trader today at 2:05 today basically said, hey, this is my real account. This is what I did. I was 88% profitable with a $4,954 gain. And we have the receipts for people who are looking for an answer, a solution. And I want people to understand that it's possible to get to the point in their trading they want to get if they're following the rules from day one. Well, what are the rules? We're going to spend all of 5 minutes in this presentation. And these are the rules right here. You're playing on an unlevel field. Everyone is better. You're trading against banks who can average in infinitely. Think about that. They have so much money that they can average into a position until every position is their position. They're down 10 points, add 100 contracts, add 100 contracts, add 100 contracts. They're not down 10 points anymore. You can't do that. Some of you can. I wanted to find the other picture that I love. It's not in here, so never mind. What we do every week is essentially believe that those people follow procedures, that even above that concept, there are a set of rules encoded into timing. How many of you believe timing in markets is important? Timing in life is an important thing. That popular phrase, timing is everything. Well, we believe it's the thing. And there have been a lot of series on television lately, True Detective, one of them with Matthew McConaughey, where he says, time is a circle, time is a flat circle. I'm watching a new show on Prime called Outer Range with Josh Brolin, and they're discussing how time operates in our universe. Nothing is lost, everything exists at the same time over and over again in an infinite loop. Really some great sci-fi out there with regards to time. With our proposition, to get you into the conversation, to even involve you at that level where you'll even listen to anything I have to say, we send out the times for the markets for Wednesday and Thursday on Tuesday. We give you a trading system when you get to those times to take the signals. So I want to back up just 1 second. Time and market movements are predictable. Anyone who tells you they're not doesn't know what they're talking about, or they're trying to sell you something. Markets have always been, will always be predictable. Okay? If you believe that, crazy guy on my screen, then you should be able to tell us in advance when the markets are going to go up and go down. Challenge accepted. Then I'm going to give you a trading system, a very basic trend following entry exit system to use at those times. This completely absolves me of any responsibility in this proposition. I have no skin in the game. I do, however, spill a lot of water on the floor when I knock my jug over. So I have no influence on these results. And that is my hope, that you'll at least listen to what I have to say when you see that I have no way to manipulate these results. Let's take a look. Today, Thursday, August 8th, E-mini S&P 5-minute chart. Let me see. 5-minute chart. Yes. So if you were taking our trial, you can see, when were these signals available to us? Does anyone know? Can you read on that chart when the signals were available? Merrick, how many days in advance were these signals published? That's right, 5 days ago. So if you're watching from home on YouTube, at least 5 days ago, these times were on this chart. Now, what are these times? They're Eastern time zone. Everywhere there's a blue line was an expectation of selling pressure on Thursday, 5 days in the future. What? Everywhere there's a white line was an expectation 5 days in the future of an up move. The only reason those times are here, the only reason those times are on this histogram is because over the last several weeks, those behavior patterns rose to dominance. Those things happened at those times often enough to create a digital fingerprint. They left a clue. If you go further into the time code as you advance further on, there is an element of predestination involved. The markets were always going to go up at those times. That's a little heady, and I'm not drunk enough to talk about it. So we'll just assume that this was an institutional behavior pattern. Now, all I have to do is look at what happened at these times with you on today's E-mini S&P chart, right? Okay. So the first signal that I have on here is 2:45 a.m. And I just want you to see real quick, 2:45, 3 a.m., 3:25. So can we at least concede that we're starting out with the times that we've known for 5 days ago? All of the times on my histogram down here are the times that we were waiting for, and there were no price bars on the right-hand side. Okay? Boom. Now, there was a big report today. I did a NinjaTrader event a couple weeks ago, and the guest who was on before me was telling everyone about his gold trade. And he was trying to explain to them about, he spoke to this guy who analyzed this report, and he talked to this person in that office who had a bearish, bullish feeling. I knew 5 days ago, before the unemployment claim report came out, before it was published, there was a signal on my screen that said 8:20 until 9 o'clock, positive movement. I didn't call Frank. I didn't call Rothschild and Rothschild and Rothschild. I didn't have an inside scoop. I didn't marry Jerome Powell's cousin's sister's brother. There's 8:20 right here. There's the line that we've been waiting 5 days for. This is a little spooky right now, isn't it? It's a little weird. Okay. Any questions at this point in the demonstration? Because I've, in essence, done the impossible, or what most people perceive to be impossible. The markets are not predictive. You can't predict moves in the market. They're unpredictable. Michael, you just can't predict movements in the market. Well, let's take it to the next step. There's a difference between the time signals and the setup. There's a difference between the raw data of the histogram and what we're actually going to do when we get to those times, right? And so each week, I spend a few hours beforehand getting ready to tell you about these signals that we're going to be adopting when we get to the times. And I have a trend strategy. So the times, if they are predictable, should give us an edge. But then we have to surround them with a trading set of rules. And this is just one example of one way you can apply the times. Get long at the buy times when our 120 period EMA is rising. Your stop is 1.5 ATR values away. That's average true range. So as the market volatility increases, your risk increases, your potential reward increases too. As your market volatility decreases, your risk decreases, your potential reward decreases too. It's like an elastic waistband. Enter at the signal's close. Stop is 1.5 ATR values away. Exit by the opposite signal. Enter at the candle close. Stop is 1.5 ATR values away. Exit by the next signal. The reason we look at this through that lens is because about 2/3 of our profitable customers trade following a trend system. There is an expression, the trend is your friend, that exists for a reason. Nearly 2/3 of people that I've talked to as customers who are profitable using our software are trading a variant of a trend entry system. Any questions about that entry? Okay. There's something called a crossover trade, which says if you start out with a buy signal below the moving average and the signal candle crosses over the moving average, we enter at the close of that candle, we put our stop just below the crossover candle and exit at the close of the next signal. So if the time becomes a trend entry, we get in on the train once it's a valid trend signal. Crossover trade, we taught about this for years and years. Then there's a puncture. If we're in an uptrend and we're waiting for a sell signal, I wait for that signal stop line to get broken through or punctured. We're normally at 9:30 waiting for profit to get taken, a sideways movement, or we're waiting for the market to move down. One of those two things usually happens at a selling signal. But if it keeps going up and up and up, the 9:30 candle, which has produced a down move over and over again in the past, this time it's not. And so I'm going to enter just on the other side of that stop line. And like a crossover trade, I'm going to put my stop 2 ticks underneath the candle that broke through the stop line. It's a breakout trade, right? And now I'll hold it until the next signal. Quick question that I know you're asking, Michael, can I just hold it till the next signal then? Sure. You can trail stop all the way up if they keep puncturing and puncturing and puncturing. You could, in theory, get in one trend entry and hold it all day, watching at each of those times to see if it'll keep going. For the purposes of my weekly experiment, I want to keep it simple. A couple rules, like that movie where Jeremy Irons says, "Speak to me as though I were a 6-year-old or a golden retriever." We want the simplest of us to understand what the rules are without any discretion. So you can, of course, trail into the next signal, but I like to break it up so we can see step by step what happened. That brings us to today's chart. Just so you can see, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to add an even bigger moving average, 120 exponential moving average. So you can see no shenanigans, zero shenanigans. And these are, in fact, the signals that were published 5 days ago, right? 1150, 1150, 1120, 1120, 110, 110, 255, 255, 340, and so on. Let's go. We'll do everything from the signals I gave you last night, or the signals I gave you forward. So 245, we exit by the 3 o'clock signal, minus $3.50. Womp womp. 3 o'clock, we're above the moving average. Candle instantly goes down, hits our stop, minus $13. Womp womp. 325, the candle is below the moving average. The stop is 1.5 ATR values above us. And we exit, come on, by 430, plus $9. This is the counter trend signal. We're waiting for it to puncture the white line. It does not puncture the white line. 5:10 European session. This is all Eastern Daylight Time. The candle opens and closes, and now we're short. It goes as far down as $22 before our simple system says get out at 6:30 plus $7. The candle never closes above the moving average. Let's check the 710 signal to see if it closed above or below. I'm going to get all the way under. It is below. Womp womp. So now watch. Short, stop filled, -8. No shenanigans. When's the next signal? 8:20. It's above the moving average. My stop is 1.5 ATR values away. Enter at the close of the candle. When do I exit by? The close of the next signal, plus 34. Okay. Now, at 9 o'clock, I'm above the moving average. I'm watching this line. I have a buy stop order just above it. In fact, it looks disturbingly like the example that I've shown for the last 5-10 years right there. What do we do when it gets above the blue line? That's right, we buy. Where's our stop go? Just underneath the candle that punctures the blue line. It's a breakout move. It's an impulse move. And we go long right there. How long do we hold it? Until the next signal. Plus 16. Now, because this is a simple system, this one's going to hurt a little bit. We enter on the close of the 10:15 candle. It goes a maximum of $20 in our favor. I have a 100-tick rule that says I got to get out. I usually take a $10 move in the ES before I can't take it anymore. The market obliges me and reduces it down to 2 3/4. But you are up in a parabolic move, nearly $20 before it erases $18 of that move. 11:20 comes, there's a breakout right there above the blue line. No curve fitting, and it hits our stop. So we're long right here. It immediately pulls back. Womp womp. I give $7 up. Close of the candle at 11:50. We have a prior swing low at 53.06. It's a higher low right here. The candle closes at 11.75. I enter. It hits a maximum of $20 again, but I have to take my lumps and I leave the table with 9, about half of it, with my simple syrup system. Next signal is called a puncture trade. Boom, right there. Where's my stop? Right underneath the candle that violates that line. Same situation. Explosive move up. Look at that, $20 again before I have to take my consolation prize, and half of it goes away. Next signal is a stop out. Did you know that you can get stopped out? Right there, -12. 340 violates the blue line. I'm long in a puncture trade, and then I get out. I have to get out by 4:15, up $2. And now it's climbing out of the 4:15 signal into 6:05. So how did we do? That's how we did. We'll do a quick online calculator calculation, because in this trying to think of the word, hypothetical world, anything's possible. Let's say 10 plus 7 plus 34 plus 16 plus 3 plus 8 plus 9 plus 3 minus 7 minus 12.5 minus 9 minus 13 minus 3.5. None of it's adding into my stupid online calculator. Did you know Windows used to have a calculator and it was freaking easy to point and click and add stuff? And Windows decided that we shouldn't have a calculator on our computer, which to me is the biggest irony of all. So let's add it up. 10, 17, 47, 51, 61, 67, 69, 77, 87, let's call it 90, 80, 78, 71, 69, 59, 56, 53. Let's call it $50. Would that be all right? Would I hurt anybody's feelings if I said, generally speaking, it's in the neighborhood of $50 times $20 a contract is $1,000 hypothetical per contract? How do you feel about that? Andreas, how do you feel about that? Ross? Esmeralda, you have the software, you stopped making payments on it, but you're back here because you recognized something's gone, something's missing. You had the keys to the kingdom and you threw them out the front door. We can look at higher time frames. We can look at higher time frames of other markets. With the same settings, not changing my settings, I'm going to come over here and put the ES settings that I use for the daily chart. I'm very transparent about this, and I've been using these values now for over a year. 12350. These have been the settings on the daily chart that I've been sharing for over a year in my social media posts, in my Facebook posts to customers in the group. And it looks a lot like our 5-minute chart today, doesn't it? Same thing, I got the times coming up on the right-hand side. I can see the next signals. And an interesting thing happened over the last few weeks. If you've had the software, you've seen this for yourself. July 1st, July 29th. The next signal was August 7th. Hey, what's today? Oh, today's August 8th. Wouldn't it be hypothetically funny if they came up and tripped out these stops in the overnight and then the market fell again into the 16th as we retest the 120 period moving average? That would be hilarious, wouldn't it? Look at the sum total of the predictions that were made months and weeks in advance, and tell me if you believe in a random market. Tell me if you believe, knowing that each of these signals, I've shown at least 30 to 50 people every week, thousands on our YouTube channel, have seen these dates coming on the right. All of these dates were dates that were coming on the right. If you had buy puts and calls and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to do calls from May 24th until May 14th, calls from May 28th until June 3rd, calls from June 5th until June 12th. calls from July 1st until July 29th. What if he did that? Andreas, you're asking the Judas question. You're asking the Thomas question. Thomas, remember him from the New Testament? Unless I see the holes in his hands and his feet, I will not believe. Unless I see the holes and feel them. I don't even want to see him. I want to feel him. Could we go through ES 5-minute from Wednesday? Andreas, are you a customer? Okay, if I show you the price of the software in 2 days worth of ES trades, will you buy before we close? How about we make a deal? You feel that feeling in the pit of your stomach? I know from your question you won't be a customer because you won't believe what your eyes are showing you. So you're here today to prove to yourself that what I showed you was wrong. Okay, so just remember what we finished before we look at yesterday. That was $1,000, right? What I just did was $1,000. And you said, no, show me yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. And what about August 14th, 1976? It was raining that day. My girlfriend broke up with me. Here we go. Ready? Stay in draw mode. 550, 530, 435. Yeah, pre-market. Basically a break-even trade. Here, break-even trade, maybe 1 tick, 3 ticks. Long at 550, exit at 645, $8. Long at 710, loss by 730, -3. Long at 815, break even by 920. Puncture 920, exit by 945. 945 long until 1040, net loss $11. No puncture, no puncture. Long, exit $2. Crossover trade, short at 1150, exit by 1220, -$1.75. Puncture trade, no stop hit, exit 115, $20 move. Uh-oh, short right here, exit right here, -$2. Puncture trade, 145, exit by 255, plus $30. So are you going to keep trading? When you're up that much, sure, let's keep going. I don't care. Short at 455, 255, exit -17. No puncture, no puncture. Short at 345, exit at 4 o'clock, plus 20. Let's add them up, shall we? 1, 9, 17, 19, 38, 58, 67, 97, 90, 80, 78, 76, 66, -2, 64, -3, 61. Let's call it $60. That equals 60 times 50. What is that? $60 times $50 a contract. Is that $3,000? Am I doing that right? Let's use my useless online calculator. Yeah, that's $3,000. And then we jumped into today, and it just kept doing the same thing. So what we're dealing with isn't factual. We're dealing with your emotions. I say the market is predictable. I give the times and directions out 5 days in advance. I give the rules for the trade years in advance. Okay. What can I do? I can't change the times. I can't update the times. I can't delete the times. And then 2 days later, from the Euro open until the US close, it's $3,000 plus $1,000, hypothetical, of course. I also showed you what our software said the program would do on the daily chart, months in advance, a week in advance. I went over the chart last week and I told everybody what the moving times were. And this isn't enough for you. The drop was always coming from July 29th until August 7th. The move up was coming from August 7th until August 8th. And your brain is going dzz, 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 dzz. You're asking those questions. Well, if it's so good, why is he selling it? I don't understand. And you're this person right now. Ross, did I make a mistake? He says it's only 2,500, not 3,000. I'm working with a piece of garbage online calculator. I'll find a better one next week. Thank you for the correction. How much does the software cost, Ross? Oh, you said, okay, I can't add, apparently. 3,000 second day, 2,500 first day, $5,500 total. What are we doing? If this is how the markets really work, why are you looking at anything else first? Right? That's my question. If this is how the market really works, why are you looking at anything else first? Why are you in those forums? Why are you in those discords looking for crumbs? Right? The most unpredictable market is the NASDAQ. Most unpredictable. Can't predict it, Michael. It's impossible. Your stuff would never work on the destroyer of worlds. Never. There it is. There's the times. Guess what? Here's the morning session of the NASDAQ. Ross, does that look like a random market to you where anything could happen? Or did the high come in at 841? Did the low come in at 831? Was there a high at 812? Failure at 854? Failure at 902? Launch again at 906? High at 921? Push up from 938 until 943. When was it supposed to drop? From 943 until 953. When was it supposed to rise? From 953 until 958. Look at the candles right here. Ross, are people taking profit right there? Can we assume that people are selling at 958? Where do we go long? At the puncture. Where do we exit? At 1011, $50 move. That's $1,000. When do we go long? At 1011. When do we exit? At 1015. When did we go long? At 953. When did we exit? 958. And so it's easy for me to show people what the truth is. The hard part is accepting it. Here's the NASDAQ yesterday on the way down, Andreas. Same rules. Short, boom, $28. Puncture, boom, $23. Short, negative 22. Quick puncture, 1 minute trade, plus 15. Short, exit, 1209, plus 30. Counter trend trade accelerates all the way up. Short, 1227, 1242, plus 7. Puncture trade, out, 1250, $42, and so on, and so on, and so on, over and over and over again. And you're mad. You're absolutely enraged. All of those self-sabotaging questions are rising to the forefront of your mind. Instead of saying, I'm finally home. Now here's the part that'll really bake your noodle. The times are ready for tomorrow. And I'm speaking with an edge intentionally. I'm speaking with an edge intentionally because if I don't come at you like this, I will let you believe that this was somehow a fairy tale. You'll wake up tomorrow and say, I had the weirdest dream. There was a guy who could predict the markets and told us that banks had a plan. Here's tomorrow. Andreas, ha ha ha. $5,000, ha 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 ha. Look, it's here. There's tomorrow. There's tomorrow. And you know what? This is the guy who's laughing. Look how hard he was laughing today. Ha 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 ha. Ah ha 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 ha. The customers were laughing. It's so funny. It's hilarious. Hee hee ha ha. Yeah. Tomorrow, yesterday, today, it doesn't matter. It's in the future. The times will appear Australian time. And it's not just the 5-minute chart. There's the 15-minute chart. What time frame are you on? It doesn't matter. There's the 60-minute chart. You go down to a 30-second chart. I don't care. I don't have enough historical days. There we go. Let's really break the computer. Go as low or as high as you want on whatever time frame you're comfortable watching. The times are the times are the times. Hee hee ha ha. Any questions? Everything else you're doing is gambling. Everything. Everything else you're looking for, every electronic rabbit's foot you're rubbing, isn't this. Because this tells me there was a plan. It tells me there was a plan. These times had stuff associated with them, right? Here's SPY on a daily chart using the times. We have a technique that we use that draws Fibonacci splits in between the signals. If you're a customer, you know. Next down move on SPY is on the 12th, Monday. When were the last two signals on SPY? May 3rd until May 20th. Haha. June 3rd until July 5th. Haha. Puncture, stop out. And in the entirety of it, for a year's worth of signals. Look at where all the big moves in SPY came in and went out. For the record, Australian customers are the best customers. You're the most fun, right? There is a phenomenon in trading time signals where the signals invert. If you're an Omnia student, you know that we were watching the Tesla move on July 1st and then expecting Tesla to drop on July 25th until August 15th. The signals are actually all backwards. If you're in my live class, you know there's a document that we watch right here that tells us the signals go into reverse polarity, right? We can look at oil, right? That's a pretty volatile market. No way to know when oil is going to go up or down. Iran is going to war. It's going to blow Israel up. There are all the predictive signals on oil for a daily chart. And when we come down to a 3-minute chart in oil, these were the signals we were waiting for on a 3-minute chart today. We can go all the way down to a 1-minute chart because I gave you those signals as well. Oil's unpredictable. Iran's going to go to war with Israel. Really? How unpredictable is oil? Where did the highs come in? Where did the lows come in? Oil opens at 9 o'clock Eastern. The prediction 5 days ago was for a drop from 9:01 until 9:06. But I thought oil was unpredictable. What about Iraq and Saudi Arabia and the Houthis? And ExxonMobil doesn't care. Takahiro, I asked for that webinar last week to not get posted because I was in a particularly sour mood. I was still sort of lamenting that guy that I was talking about, and I didn't feel like I represented the company very well. I didn't want that out there. So I came, see, that's how much, that's why you actually remember. So any market, any time frame, this program goes back and finds the ripples in time. And it tells you in the future when the next ripple is coming back. And if we look at gold and we fast forward, there's tomorrow. There's Monday and Tuesday. Those times don't change, they don't disappear, they don't reappear, right? And as you go back, look, they had a plan. They were following their rules over and over and over again, up markets and down markets. And so I am sarcastic. I'm probably harsher than I need to be, but I take it very seriously because people are going to lose their asses tomorrow. Again, people are going to lose their shirts again, and they'll laugh and say, ha 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 ha. And when you look at what they're really doing, when you look at how they're really trading and what they're really watching, it's painful. It is 100% painful to see your charts when I load the software on some of your computers. I'm like, oh my God, you use this? We have customers who've lost millions of dollars try to convince us when we load the software on their computer how great what they were doing was. True story. Any markets you guys want to look at as we come into the end of the webinar? Because it's not just stocks, it's not just SPY and QQQ. It's also other markets. You can look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin on a 60-minute chart right here. Bitcoin on a 5-minute chart right there. Tell me Bitcoin is random. Did someone have a plan for BTC today? What are the times for tomorrow? There they are. Oh. And so your world is in 3 pieces now. What was expected, where we are now, what is, geez, Mike, what is expected. So this is where we are in time right now. Boom. This is what was expected over here. You already know those signals are valid based on what I've shown you. I connect to, on NinjaTrader Bala, under the connections, my Coinbase. And for stocks on the daily, I use kinetic end of day to get the BTC USD data. No, you're welcome. And so if you're trading Bitcoin, you're thinking to yourself, well, why would I ever look at those times? Because look at what happened at the times today. And those signals were at least 5 days old. They had a plan for 5 days. There was a plan. There was an energy ripple, whatever you want to call it. There was a predictive move waiting. Right? And it's not just limited to a 5-minute chart. There's a 60-minute chart. Tell me JP Morgan doesn't have a hand in what's going on that chart. Everything over here, dates and times with expected moves that were known at least 5 days in the future. Over here, what's expected. My daughter is driving to Ohio to spend time with her future fiance. He told us he wants to get a good job before he proposes. Can't object to that. So my daughter, the other day, she's driving up. She went to weather.com and she went looking for Columbus, Ohio. And she looked and she could see what the expected weather was for the weekend. Mostly sunny, partly cloudy. This is the weather report for Bitcoin. We're expecting sunny skies from 7 a.m. August 8th until 7 a.m. August 9th. Partly cloudy, chance of showers. Clouds rolling away and the sun coming through 10 p.m. Eastern. In every other area of your life, you're using times and predictive elements except trading. And that's why you're getting hammered in the markets. There's an element of you that loves the gambling aspect of it. And when you're saying, hey, can I have one more day? Can I have one more day of trading? Can I have one more week of signals? Michael, if you give me a month of signals and it works, I have 30 family members. My mom had 18 kids. My aunt had 36 kids. They're all going to buy every story under the bridge. And guys like Luke sign up. My PA account, 25K from Apex, is growing every day since a couple of days now. They reached out to me to verify my trade setups. So I record now my trades to show off. Thank you for the new booklet with the trade setups. And by the way, blessings at the end of the Thursday webinar are just awesome. You're going to get some blessings, Bala. It's coming your way. 4.6 out of 5 after 15 years, because it's real. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is the basic stuff. We're blowing through all kinds of levels in our advanced training. Most people stop here, and that's fine. Any questions about what's on my chart right now? The experiment that we set up to prove to you that it was real? Or the setups that I taught you to apply to these times? No? At the end of the day, all we really care about, did it provide me a consistent edge? At the end of the day, across those 2040 signals, was there a net profitability? That's it. Except it's not. This edge, you know the time's coming up. Would you rather walk down a hallway in a dark, middle of the night, and someone says to you, hey, Luke, there are 100 doors in this hallway. 20 of them have the scariest things you can ever imagine just behind the door that'll open unexpectedly as you walk past them. Or I could hand you this piece of paper and it tells you what doors have good things behind them potentially and warns you where the bad stuff is. We've got some good intelligence about which doors are good. Some of them have birthday cakes. Some of them have really agreeable people who are just going to give you a hug and tell you you're awesome. And some of them have scary clowns, spiders, and supporters of the political party you don't like. Yeah, give me the paper. Give me the paper. And there are people in this webinar today who, despite the fact that I couldn't fake anything, that I wasn't involved in all in the process other than reviewing it, are saying to us, I don't want your paper. In their head, they're saying, if it's so good, why are you selling it? Blah, 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 blah. I have to deliver the cat tomorrow. I have so much homework. I got to feed the hogs. Trading is a future guess. Future implies time. All the indicators that everyone else is looking at are telling them what already happened. All of the tools you have, if you don't have our stuff, is telling you what already happened. It's in the past. Psychologically, you don't want to know what's coming because then you might be successful, and oh, what our brains would do if that happened. If trading is about the future, why are you not looking into the future? Australia, Singapore, Thailand, it's tomorrow already, sure. By the way, Andreas, you're welcome for the nuclear submarines on behalf of the American public. You are welcome. You almost had those French submarines, and we swooped in at the last minute and sold you the US subs. So On behalf of all of us here, you're welcome. And when the poop gets real down there, and the giant to the north of you guys starts to get a little crazy with Taiwan, just remember who your friends are. I don't know why I said that. It seemed funnier in my head. Yeah, we want to know what's going to happen next. It makes it easier psychologically to be proactive. Ah, okay. Well, if you're not an Aussie and you're living here, you're one of the first hostages. Who here is Australian? Okay. Who here isn't? All right, go grab Andreas. We can get a bigger ransom. When you know what's coming, your stops are smaller, you let your targets run farther. You stay in the trades longer. You don't overtrade because you're waiting for the next time, because you understand everyone else you're trading against has you outgunned. JP Morgan is the US nuclear submarine of trading banks. The biggest network cables, the biggest fiber optic cords, the fastest executions, the most advanced black box, high frequency trading algorithms, all of the senators in their pocket. Nancy Pelosi's office. Ma'am, I have JP on the phone. They have a good tip for you. And they said, thank you for the donation. Okay, I'll put them through. And inevitably someone will say, there's no way what I just saw with my own two eyes could work. Some of you here today have deeply rooted assumptions about the reality of the markets. Well, it's a zero-sum game. No, it's not. Every time the banks lose everything, they print more money. The US has $35 trillion of debt, and we're printing money. It's not zero sum. Everything you've been told about markets, for the most part, is wrong. It's power. It's geopolitical power. There's a great line in the movie Dune, Denis Villeneuve's adaptation, where Muad'Dib says, he who has the power to destroy a thing controls it. Right? Think about the markets that way. This is the only rule you need to know about. If you want to fight, you can't fight against them. You have to fight with them. You can't go in there and take them down. You have to move when they move. You have to trade when they trade. You got to get behind their signal. If there's a behavior pattern on your chart and it says in 17 minutes, there's a behavior pattern that keeps happening, odds are you're going to do the opposite thing and be mad again, be ashamed again, be sad again, yell at yourself, throw something across the room. Why did I do that again? Because the entire game is set up to appeal to your narcissistic, self-destructive behavior. This is what I want. I want you to join the rest of the people who've come on board. I want you to come in the church of time, the temple, the temporal temple. Get in here. Let us help you. You're going out there with the best of the best of the best. I want you to have the same results these people are having. I want you to have those same experiences. I don't want you to write what Ken wrote. Can you see what he wrote? Real guy. You can talk to him. I'm sure he would love to share what he's doing. I really wish I found Michael sooner. Stop fighting. Stop resisting. The program that we're talking about is called TimeWarp. This is our 15th plus year, going on 16 years. In our product store, it's our flagship product, TimeWarp. If you click on Learn More when you get to the web page, at the bottom of the page is a Buy Now button. The program costs is listed for $29.95, but hang on one second. Click on the Buy Now button, and there's a box that pops up. There's a box that pops up. I have a room that meets Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's an awesome room. The training is awesome. I teach higher level concepts. We look at futures markets predominantly. I'll look at stocks. We'll look at SPY, bigger picture stuff always when asked. If that's something you want to be a part of, I suggest you come in there for at least a month or two. See how we do it. Watch for more advanced executions. Live markets sometimes with somebody who knows what they're doing can help you learn faster. If you don't want it, don't get it. You won't hurt my feelings. This is the purchase agreement. You have to actually click it, which means you've read it, and that confirms you agree with everything that's up here. Please don't buy the software, use it for 6 months, call Visa and say, I never got the program, I never used it. We'll know that you used it. We know that you turned it on. And when you click that box, you told Visa that you knew all that. Please don't be that person. When you sign up, we commit the full forces of our company to you. That community notwithstanding. There are 292 people in this Skype group. They're all in here helping each other. They're all in here discussing their setups. They're able to share what they're doing and what they're looking for and give advice to one another. There's a community of 292 people other than the 5 people on staff that are helping us and working with us today. So that's part of what you're launched into. There's also a promo code because you sat through this craziness. WARPOFF. 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 And when you hit apply, it takes $500 off. That's going to help anyone in Australia because the exchange rate is ridiculous. Andreas, it's from the time you sign up. It starts the day you sign up. So it'll be a month of those dates. All of those classes are recorded also and archived at the end of the week for you to download if you miss one. Lifetime licenses, 2 computer licenses, indicator for NinjaTrader, video training archive, unlimited updates for the duration of your existence on planet Earth. All of that is waiting for you. Any time frame, 30-second, 15-second bars up to daily and weekly bars. That'll blow your noggin. If we come here and we go out to the daily, we can also go out to the weekly. Let me see if I ruin my whole presentation right now. Nope, there it is. There's the Bitcoin analysis. Was expected. What is expected? You can go all the way out to a weekly chart. Marcio, there's no trading view version of this. But don't let that stop you. There's all sorts of ways to get data for NinjaTrader. You don't have to have an account with them. You can port data over from Interactive Brokers, from TD Ameritrade. You can port it over from third-party data brokers, including Kinetic, which is what I'm doing right now. Don't let that be an obstacle. Go wake up grandma, tell her you want the inheritance money now. Go sell that mint Chevy Nova in the garage. It's only got a couple thousand miles on it. Go find your rated 10 Charizard card in your Pokemon collection. Don't let this moment pass, because tomorrow you're going to trade. It's going to go against you, and you're going to think to yourself, that was one of those times I could have known. Oh, shoot. And you're going to kick yourself. Don't kick yourself. Kick the market's butt. You're a superstar, and I believe in you, and I know that you can do this. Any questions before we finish up? I am based out of North Carolina in America. Yeah. 15 years, somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 customers. Yep. If you need to call me, sure. My personal number is 336-703-7667. So that's a US number. And if you can, please text first, because I get a lot of spam calls now out of the blue saying, hey, it's me, what are you doing? And it's like, who's this? Spam. Indian call center. Not going to do it. So yeah, you can reach me up until about 11 p.m. Eastern. And if you are Australian, Andreas, I can work with you on Skype early my time, or late my time, when you're either just waking up or just before you go to bed. I would say about 20% of our customers are from that time zone, and I've made it work. No problems. So there is a time gap, but we are committed to your success. And there are other people in the Skype group that you can connect with that are local to you that we can help. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine upon your handsome, gorgeous, wrinkly faces. Your toothless faces, some of you. May the mountains lay low before you. May the valley that you're walking through rise up to meet you on your journey. Your motivations for doing what you're doing. Some of you want to support a cause. Some of you don't want to work in the job you're in anymore. Some of you are just tired of losing when you trade, and you want to tell your spouse, your friend, your parents you actually did it. You want to rub that payout in their faces. You want your best friend to stand up at your funeral and say, Andreas, you know, he had us all going there for a while, but Lord, if we didn't all drive here in Bugatti Veyrons today, Godspeed, Andreas, you were the best trader in the world. We're sorry we ever doubted you. Thank you for this massive inheritance. Some of you just want your friends and family to realize you could do it. There was a payoff to it. I get it. I love your stories. I love when you share them with me. It's part of why I do what I do. I share mine, you share yours, and we get better together. I believe that you can do this. I used to think that I had to be a part of that I had to guide you, I had to show you, I had to train you. And that was one of my biggest fallacies. I had guru infection, guruitis. And now we have customers helping customers and doing the training and sharing that stuff and their settings and their setups and their forming relationships and friendships. That's a mistake I made that I wish I could rectify. I want you to be part of a community. I want you to feel supported. And I want you to know that I think you can do this. Every day that you're alive, every day that you're looking at a chart, watching a pattern, every day that you believe you have a shot at this. You're one step closer, a huge step closer to actually accomplishing it. There are so many opportunities now. We mentioned people getting funded with Apex with our tools. It's like a mountain of people who are daring you to use something with an edge and a little bit of money management, and they'll pay you every month. You can do it. You can do it. That's all I have to say about that. You guys have a great weekend. Be careful trading tomorrow. If you wake up and you decided that you didn't want this, remember, you had a chance. I warned you. You know what the rules are now. Go forward without them at your own risk. Have a great weekend, everyone. I love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.